how a baby should be fed from day 1 to 5 to 10 years old. Raw, baby, raw. I think women should, if they can't breastfeed, they should make their own formulas, not just high fat and proteins, because the human species is not a high fat and a high protein species. And when you see these formulas that are on the market that are all high fat and high protein, the babies are throwing up, colicky, a lot of mucus, or get them back on a formula with coconut and maybe some chia or hemp seed powder. And you know, you can really make some formulas that these babies will come out like, you know, King Kong. So they're just little people, and you have the same body as everyone else does. It's dosages when it comes to the herbs, though. Baby raw, baby should always be raw. I mean, there's no reason to introduce babies to cooked foods. Anybody out there that's a raw foodist, but you know, as they get older, living in society. My younger son I raised as a fruitarian until he was about 6 to 7. Then he wanted salad, so I gave him salads. So he had salads till he was about 12, and then he started staying overnight at friends, and then got into the dead animals, the cooked foods more, and then lost him. These babies aren't tolerating these high-fat, high-protein formulas. That's obvious. We've talked about that before. Moms have got to turn to natural. These babies we're just taking their lymph systems. Not only are they getting their lymph systems from mama, but and the weaknesses from their you know, in the body from the family trees. But this kind of formulas, I mean, to raise a baby on a formula is just disgusting. Raising a baby on a chemical formula is just disgusting to me. We have living babies. I challenge the Similac people and the people that make formulas to come out with natural formulas that are not high fat and high protein. That's contrary to the human species. And let go of the American Dietetics Association and that insanity. These guys, you know, they're all sick. This question from Lucy is about my 2-year-old diet. She has a 2-year-old, and since I decided to cut out almost all her cheese and chicken, no kidding, Lucy, dump that crap. This is a little 2-year-old, Homo sapien. First of all, a little 2-year-old shouldn't be doing any dead animal tissue, and cheese is going to just clog up his poor little lymph system. So yeah, you want to ditch those real quick if it's available. Get your fruits. So this is the time that brain and nerve growth is vital. And you've seen cases that we've shown you on this, that fruits, and those that are working as healers and practitioners, you'll see that only the fruit level has the power to regenerate the human brain and nervous system. And it's amazing to see that. I've done this 40 years, so I'm very aware of neurological issues. It's been really hard to figure out what to give her. Don't let it be hard. Fruit, applesauce, fruit juices, fresh. This is a growing little 2-year-old. You want brain, you want nerve, you want comprehension, you want strength neurologically, strong emotions, build muscle. So you could use some greens if you wanted to, green drink or something like that. Wouldn't do too much in the vegetables because she's only 2 years old, and vegetable matter to me isn't of value to small children as much as the fruits and berries. The fruits and berries, fresh, ripe, most powerful nutrition on the planet. So really, that's the perfect diet for this little. Get her used to loving the fruits right now. Please, and how long should babies be breastfed? My personal feeling, to tell you the truth, medical doctors say 2 years. I disagree with that. I think that these babies today, and they're ready, I think that with the genetics and everything like it is, I think breastfeeding should be no more than 6 months or so. I really do. I mean, when your babies start being fed and you start seeing how big and strong and how quick they're going towards the fruits and stuff, it's amazing. Some of the things we think are not what it should be. Treat a baby like an adult, but early on, you don't want to overmilk your babies. That's all I've got to say. You don't want to overmilk them. I would say 6 months at the most. Get them on coconut milk if you can't breastfeed. And even if you can, don't over breastfeed your babies. I just, you'll see how quick these babies are coming into the fruits and just going nuts over. When your baby's walking around eating a banana, you've done a good job. So when your kid's sitting there eating on a banana, he's eating on gorilla food. You're talking about food that's going to make your baby strong and mentally way out there. So what you feed a baby keeps them quiet and awake and peaceful, or it gets them rowdy and neurologically, bouncing all over the place, or colicky. These are all acid, mucus-forming foods, proteins that are foreign to the human bodies. Change the diet, and it's a radical change in the personality and the effect upon that little baby's body. Thought about diet for my 2-year-old. Fruits, berries, and melons. What else? 2-year-old, he's a little frugivore. He's a little frugivore. Apples, apple sauces, start getting me your fruit bowls, lots of bananas. A little bit of coconut would help there and mature the brain more. Now you're keeping this boy's kidneys, the lymphs moving, you're maturing the brain, and what can I say? If you want to pop some greens, go ahead. He doesn't like meat? Well, And what types of food? You don't want to start these kids on dead tissue and milks and stuff like that. But I want to make sure he's getting everything he needs. Well, Natalie, if we get rid of the concept of the American Dietetics Association, man will get healthy and we'll lose some of these idiotic concepts that hold no factors in reality of chemistry and physics and anything else. The typical, even though they changed their pyramid, it still has all the different combinations in there that don't digest well together. They still combine proteins and starch. They give you a little milk on the side. Grains are still a big part of they like America fat. Who's promoted grain eating more than anyone else? The American Dietetics Association. And then you hear the news bitching about people being obese, and yet you got Kellogg's cereals everywhere, you got breads everywhere, you got starches everywhere. This is what your child needs. Fresh fruits, fresh berries. Most of the chemistry in nature are in those foods. You want to have some fatty acids for growth of brain, of course, and muscle, and as the lymph fluids. You need that. So you definitely need the coconut meat, excellent. A little almond milk, okay. You can do chia, hemp seed, you can fix yourself a nice, but she's already 2.5, so she's ready for food. So move her on down the line there. Forget the milky idea. That needs to go. And so I would definitely use the fruit veggies, which would be your avocados and your cucumbers, things that have a little flavor to them and stuff like that. That's all good stuff for children. You can do the coconut milks and, grinding the meat and the milk together and strain it and get a little milk out of that. You can maybe use some almond milk, but you would want to make it. You're dealing with a child here, a living being. You don't want to go to the store and buy pasteurized almond milk. You want to make your almond milk. Or you can use some chia seed, hemp seed, but you want to be real careful with too much protein, because then you'll set up acidosis even with natural protein. So you have to be real amino acids. You have to be careful that we're not nitrogen beings. We're not high nitrogen beings. Not at all. We're carbon beings. Scare people.
It's just fear.
Fear.
And speaking of fear, though, with getting back to the moms and the babies and so forth, don't fear giving your children fresh juices. Even I started my kids out at 8 weeks old with fresh fruit juices, grape and apple. Of course, I diluted some of it, but they can handle it and they will flourish on it. So don't fear the juicing. Don't fear the raw foods with your babies. At this time, I know there's a lot of mothers with new babies being born or already born. But start making your own foods, put it in a blender, a Vitamix. They have those baby bullets out now that are really cool and cute. So don't fear giving your babies whole foods as far as mashing them and making them, able to be eaten. But they have, they thrive off of that fruit. They do.
When I have children someday, can I raise them on fruits and vegetables? If you do, you'll have some of the healthiest, smartest children on the planet. Look at the primates. Some primates live exclusively on fruits, and they're not only smart, they're extremely powerful. But they also won't rip your head off. Give a primate some meat and it'll rip your head off. Look at the difference of how these raw foods affect demeanor and the way your happiness is and all this sort of thing. There's nothing good about beans. They're dormant and dead. Grains or high polysaccharide. All these foods that were pushed and touted as health foods are not. Look at the herbivore family. Look at a horse on the prairie. These beautiful wild horses. What's their diet? How can you get so muscular and beautiful just eating grass? See what I'm saying? We're brainwashed at thinking that fruits and berries and melons and vegetables are secondary. These things are primary. These things are where all the magnetics are. These things are where all the nutrition is. No one can prove through physics or chemistry any different. It's just, you can't prove that. And you can't prove cooking improves it. I mean, that's all insane. Now, with the beans and things, yeah, you got to break them down. You have to cook them and break them down before they're even digestible. And again, these things are high sulfurs, so they're always gas producing. Sulfur is a fungal proliferant, a lymphatic inhibitor, so I don't like any of these things. Is it okay to keep this 7-year-old on 100% fruit for an extended period? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would switch them through the avocados and coconuts as well with that, so they get plenty of fatty acids, but I would have coconut milk and coconut meat. I'd have the avocados, all the fruits and the berries and the melons. That's where all the nutrition is. This kid will get extremely smart. You watch his academic levels. When you have him on this high level, that brain and nerve is going to be way up there. Perception, way up there. Comprehension, way up there. And I've seen this a lot. These kids make some of these teachers scratch their heads. I would get my body healthy before I had children in today's world. It's just something you want to think about. You want to go beyond your own emotional thinking and go into the thinking of bringing in superior beings to the planet, because that's what you're doing when you conceive. You're bringing in souls to this planet. And the healthier the body, you're going to pull some interesting souls here.